Section 4.8, solving equations by using the zero product rule. So the quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So in order for you to be able to factor or solve for x, you need to be in the quadratic equation format. So in example 1, it says 2x squared minus 5x equal to 12. First thing we need to do is we need to subtract 12 over. So we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 equal to 0. So I have my polynomial set equal to 0. Now I'm going to use Columnar method of factoring. First, there's no GCS because 2, 5, and 12 aren't factored. So you're going to do 2 parentheses, set equal to 0. Remember, we use Columnar method, which is 4.6 notes. 2 goes into the first parentheses for both of them, 2x, 2x. Then it's the first times the last, 2 times negative 12. That is a negative 24. It has to add to negative 5. Well, 24, 8, and 3. I immediately went to those numbers because those are the only 2 numbers that will ever get you to 5. So 5 negative results with a negative 8. So I'm going to write negative 8, positive 3. You don't have to reduce. Because since we're reading sets equal to 0, you don't have to reduce here. You're going to set each parentheses equal to 0. So you're going to say 2x minus 8 equal to 0, 2x plus 3 equal to 0. And you just solve for x. So we're adding 8. You get 2x equals 8 and then divide by 2. So x is a 4. Subtract 3. 2x equals negative 3, divide by 2. X equals negative 3 halves. So the two values that will result in 0 are 4 and negative 3 halves. So your solution is going to be the set of negative 3 halves, comma 4. I put the negative value first, thinking of the number line. Negative comes before a positive. In example 2, it says 9x parentheses 4x plus 2 closed minus 10x equaling 8x plus 25. So obviously off the bat, we don't see a power of 2. We have a lot of things to do. So let's first start by distributing. So we become 36x squared. 9 and 2 make 18x minus 10x equals 8x plus 25. Before we move anything, combine like terms on the left side. So positive 18 and negative 10 combine. So I see 36x squared plus 8x equals 8x plus 25. Now move everything from the right side of the equal sign to the left side. So I'm subtracting 8x and I'm subtracting 25. So we result in 36x squared. The x's cancel, 8x and positive and negative 8x, minus 25 equal to 0. Lo and behold, we have 2 terms, check, minus sign, check, and 36 is a perfect number as well as 25. So that becomes our plus minus situation. 6x, 6x, positive 5, negative 5. Now, a trick to knowing, instead of having to set these equal to 0, is if you have a number attached to the variable, the number that's plain, that is your numerator. The number that's attached to the variable is your denominator. It's a positive, it's going to come out a negative sign. Numerator is 5, denominator is 6. Numerator, denominator. A negative is going to come out positive. 5 over 6. So here are our answers. So our set is negative 5, 6, positive 5, 6. Example 3 says negative 2 parentheses y plus 7 times the parentheses y minus 1 times parentheses 10y plus 3 equaling 0. Do not distribute the negative 2 in. Once you come to a problem that's factored out like this, they basically set you up just to solve. So remember, it's everything set equal to 0. Well, negative 2 cannot equal 0, so I'm ignoring the negative 2. But we have y plus 7 equaling 0, y minus 1 equaling 0, 10y plus 3 equaling 0. There's 3 terms. So y is equal to -7. Y is equal to +1. We have 10y equaling -3, divide by 10. So y equals -3/10. There are 3 solutions to this problem. 3 solutions means the starting variable has a power of 3. So if it's a power of 3, we're going to have 3 answers. If it's a power of 2, you only end up with 2 answers. Power of 1, you have 1 answer. So this would have a cubic function, is y times another y. That means y cubed. In example 4, it says z cubed plus 3z squared minus 4z minus 12. So when we come to this problem, we have 4 terms, which means we are grouping. So I'm going to group the first 2 and group the second 2 terms. So in the first term, they both share a z squared. In the second one, they have a 4. So we have z squared, the parentheses, a minus, a 4, the parentheses equal to 0. So z cubed, take out z squared, we have a z. Positive 3z squared, take out the z squared, we have a positive 3. Remember, we're not dividing by positive 4, it is -4. So -4z divided by -4 is positive z. -12 divided by -4 is positive 3. Referring back to our grouping method, it said that if the bubbles are the same, that is your first parentheses. The GCF is z plus 3. That goes in the first one. The second one is z squared minus 4 because remember, what's left over is your second term. So we write z squared minus 4. Now, the second one is difference of squares. That breaks down into z plus 2, z minus 2. And the first parenthesis, z plus 3, slides down. So now we have to find out what values of z make 0. Remember, if it's positive, it's going to come out negative. So I'm going to get z equaling -3. A positive comes out negative, z equaling -2. A negative comes out positive, so I get positive 2. Again, 3 terms because the exponent was 3 at the beginning. Example 5, it says the product of 2 consecutive odd integers is 35. Find the integers. So they said the word consecutive odd. So back in 1.2 notes, this is going way back, we talked about consecutive integers, which means they are in order. So we have like 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So the pattern is x plus 1, x plus 2, going forward. But if they talked about consecutive, even or odd, either or, that's talking about the patterns of 2, 4, 6, going forth. That is x plus 2, x plus 4. If we are odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, going forward, that is x plus 2, x plus 4. It's the same pattern. So even and odds share the same. So in this one says the product of 2 consecutive odd integers is 35. Product means multiply. So it said odd integers. So the first 2 terms, x and x plus 2. The product of them, so you're going to write x times x plus 2. And it says is, that is your equal sign, 35. So now we need to figure out what our answers are. So first thing, we need to distribute. So you're distributing in. So you get x squared plus 2x equaling 35. And then we're applying solving for the product 0 rule. Subtract the 35 over. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 35 equaling 0. And then we're going to factor. 2 numbers that multiply be 35. Well, that's 5 and 7. Now they have to add to be positive 2. In order to get 2 out of these two numbers, the 7 had to be positive, the 5 had to be negative. So we have x equals 5, x equals negative 7. Remember, we had two results. It says find the integers. So if our pattern is x and x plus 2, if I use the 5, my other number is 5 plus 2, which is 7. So I'm 5 and 7. That is one set that'll give you 35. If my number started out where x is equal to negative 7, and then we had x plus 2, negative 7 plus 2 means negative 5. So I am now negative 7 and negative 5 for the other pairing. Example 6, it says the length of a basketball court is 6 feet less than 2 times the width. If the total area is 4,700 square feet, find the dimensions of the court. So first thing we need to do is start by sketching a picture. So I'm going to do a rough rectangle to represent my basketball court. And so we have width, length, and they told you area. So it says that the length is 6 feet less than 2 times the width. So the width is being mentioned, so I'm going to make the width the x. Length says it's 6 feet less than 2 times. The word less than happen. Remember, when less than happens, less than, greater than, or more than, that is a switch. We're not writing 6 minus 2x. We're going to write 2x minus 6. And then the area they tell you is 4,700. So I'm going to label my parts. Here's my width at x. Length is 2x minus 6. And the area is 4,700. Okay, now, since they mentioned area, remember the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. So I'm going to write 4,700 equals x times 2x minus 6. In order to find our dimensions, we need to first distribute. So 4,700 slides down. We get 2x squared minus 6x. At this point, you want to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract the 4,700 over. So you get 0 equals 2x squared minus 6x minus 4,700. Now, before you go and try to do Columbian method of factoring, 2 times 4,700 is a very large number. I'm trying to find factors. Look at your terms. 2, 6, and 4,700. They're all even numbers, so I can factor out a 2 out of them. So I get 0 equals 2, and then we get x squared minus 3x minus 2350. Smaller numbers to work with. So we're looking at Columbian method of factoring. I'm only looking at the 2350. So that is located at the top of your crossbar. And you need to add to negative 3. So we know we're going to have 2 parentheses with x's involved. Now, 2350, trying to come up with factors of 2350. First thing I notice in this problem, it ends in the number 50. So think in terms of quarters, 50. 50 is divisible by 50. So if I divide 2350 by 50, I get 47. 50 goes into 2,350 47 times. Now look at our numbers, 50 and 47. I can easily get to the number 3. If I make the 50 negative, I get negative 3. So I'm going to write minus 50, positive 47. So I'm solving for it. So x could be a positive 50. X would be a negative 47. Now remember, we're talking about measurement. Measurement values cannot be negative. So I cannot keep the negative 47. So I know that x equals 50. And remember, x represented the width. So the width is 50 feet. The length, we said, is 2x minus 6. So it's 2 times 50 minus 6. So 100 minus 6 is 94 feet. So our dimensions is a 50 by 94. Example 7 says, find the x and y intercepts. So they gave the problem 4x equals x squared minus x minus 12. So x and y intercepts. Before, when we were doing systems of linear equations or just linear equations, remember x intercepts are when do they cross the x-axis. And your y-intercept is when does it cross the y-axis. So we are going to work with our y-intercept first, since it's actually the faster one to find. So the y-intercept, you're going to make x equals 0. So you're basically doing f of 0 is what we're using function notation. And I'm plugging 0 in for x. Well, 0 minus 12, negative 12. When x is 0, y is negative 12. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 12. That is when the graph is hitting the y-axis. The x-intercept, on the other hand, you make the y equal to 0. So f of x is the y, which is being made 0. You have your equation, f of x equals x squared minus x minus 12. Replace f of x. So this is 0 equals x squared minus x minus 12, and we are factoring. 2 parentheses, x. Numbers that multiply to be 12, they can give you negative 1. Remember, it has to multiply to be 12 and add to be negative 1. Well, that's only 4 and 3. To give you negative 1, the 4 is negative and the 3 is positive. So we have x equal to 4, x equal to negative 3. But we don't use just 4 and negative 3. We need to write them as ordered solutions. So your points are 4, 0 for the first intercept, and negative 3, 0 for your second x-intercept. So here are our x-intercepts, and then our y-intercept.